All right, class, today we're going to talk about scoring a baseball game. Pretty much, if you look at it this way, you're trying to tell people that aren't at the game what actually happened. And there's a way to go ahead and do that when you score a baseball game. You want to tell them who had hits, who drove in runs, who had RBIs, who struck out, who walked, who made errors, that type of thing. So if you keep in mind that you're trying to tell the people that aren't at the game what actually happened, and everything that happens in a baseball game can be recorded and put on a scorer's sheet. And I'll give you the two scoring sheets later on. And the game that you guys will be scoring is the Tampa Bay Rays versus the New York Yankees. All right, but let's talk about offensively first. When the team is at bat, how do you score hits? All right, that's what we're going to talk about first. How do you score hits? So you have a sheet. Your sheet will kind of look like this. Each player will have boxes next to their names. All right, so with Jeter is leading off for the Yankees. So you'll have his number. He played shortstop, and then you have his name here, okay? And then basically you'll have boxes up until through 9 innings, all the way across, okay? So here's your box. So Jeter opened up the game. Let's say he opens up the game with a single, all right? So basically what you do is you make this plus sign into a big square. So now you got 4 squares here. The first square represents first base. Second square up top to the top right is second base. Top left-hand box is third base. And top and bottom left-hand box is home plate. So let's say in the first inning, Jeter has a base hit to center field. Okay? So how you do that is you color this or shade this portion right here. This represents a single. And then it was the center field, so we can see what you can tell me if I wasn't at the game that it was a single into center field by putting an 8 in the box. All right, 8 in the box, which means single to center field. Okay? Now, he doesn't get up in the third inning. He doesn't get up in the second inning. He gets up in the third inning. And he hits a double. Okay, so again, big plus sign now in the box. Now because it's a double, now you shade in both of these boxes here. And it was a double down the left field line. So you would put a 7 in there. So if I wasn't at the game, I would come in and look at the score sheet. Okay, Jeter in the first inning hit a single to center. Then he didn't bat in the second inning. Now he batted in the third inning, and he had a double to left. Double to left. All right, and let's say that he did bat in the fourth inning, and he hit a triple. He hit a triple to right field. So you go with the big box. You shade in this. You shade in the 2 right boxes and the top left box, because that'll designate that it was a single, a triple to right field. So then right field, it represents 9. All right, the number 9. So then 9. Okay. And let's say in the 6th inning. And it would be over here, but just because of the board. All right, in the 6th inning, he hits a home run. So for a single, you shade in 1 box. For a double, you shade in 2 boxes. For a triple, you shade in 3 boxes. So for a home run, you would shade in how many boxes? 4, because he had he touched all 4 bases. So you shade in this entire box here, and let's say he hit the home run to center field, you put an 8 in there. All right, and then within this little box, this little plus sign that we started out with, you can draw a diamond inside and color that in. okay? That represents that a run was scored. That small little diamond within the box. All right, that means that the run is scored. Okay, so pretty simple. So that's how you score in this scoring system. There's a bunch of different scoring systems that you can use. There's a bunch of different sheets. You got Glover's sheet, you got Rawlings sheet, you got Dunham sheet, that kind of thing. If you can do this scoring system, then you can do any one of those other scoring sheets. But this really gives you and tells you a story of what happened in the entire game. Some of those other sheets do not tell you that. All right? So again, single, double, triple, and home run. This constitutes a run there. Okay? So, with that said, let's say in the first inning, Jeter hits the ball to the shortstop. The shortstop throws the ball to first. All right, what's the number of the shortstop who fielded the ball? His number is 6. Who did he throw the ball to? He threw the ball to the first baseman, which is 3. So on a ground ball, usually on a ground ball, there's 2 numbers associated with the out. All right, the first number is the guy that has the assist because he threw the ball to somebody. And then the next number, the last number, is the guy who records the put out, who catches it and makes the out. So if Jeter hit the ball to the shortstop in his first at-bat in the first inning, you just put a 6-3 in that box. There's no shading or whatnot because it's an out. It's an out. He didn't reach base safely. All right, he doesn't hit in the second inning. He hits in the third inning. And he hits a ground ball to the first baseman. The first baseman doesn't throw to anybody. He just comes over and steps on the bag. So the first baseman number is 3, and he was unassisted. So you would put a UA here. So that would tell me that it was 3, the first baseman fielded it, and it was unassisted put out. Okay? Those are ground balls. So let's say that in one inning, a batter hits the ball to the pitcher fields it and throws to first. Pitcher's number is 1. The guy that he threw the ball to was the first baseman, who is 3. So you would put 1-3 in that box for an out. Same thing if the ground ball is hit to the third baseman. He fielded it, threw the ball to first. Third baseman's number is 5. First baseman's number is 3. So it would be 5-3 in a box. 5-3. Okay? Those are for ground balls. Now, let's say that there's guys on base. Let's say in the 5th inning. In the 5th inning, there's a runner on first. Jeter's up. He hits a ball to the shortstop. The shortstop tosses the ball to the second baseman, and then the second baseman throws the ball to the first baseman. So you have a double play there. So who started the inning? Who started with the ball? 6. Who did he throw it to? 4. And then who did he throw it to? 3. So 6, 4, 3, and then you would write DP in there for double play. All right, then again, then there's another way that you can do it where, well, there's not another way you can do it, but then the batter who got out, which would be the 9th, 8th, or 7th batter, whoever's on at first base, you would tell them how to get out. Or how to, that you would put a 6-4 in the box there. Okay? So let's say that was the end of the inning. All right, that was the end of the 5th inning. So then you just put a little mark there. That way it tells me that that's the end of the inning. So then whoever comes up next, which I think is would be in this game, it would be Granderson. Granderson would start in the 6th. And that's the box that you would start in, whatever Granderson did. Okay? So those are ground balls. Now fly balls are pretty easy. All right, fly balls are pretty easy. Let's say Jeter in the first inning, instead of a base hit, a double, or a 6-3, a ground out to the shortstop, he flies out to center field. All right, so a fly out to center field. So your first letter, fly out, would be F. And then you got to tell me who caught it. Center fielder caught it. So what's the center fielder's number? It's 8. Boom. 8 right there in Jeter's box. So you got 1 out there. All right, let's say there was a guy on third. Let's say there was a guy on third and he flew out to center field, but the guy at third tagged up when the ball was caught. It wasn't a third out. Let's say it was a first or second out. He tagged up and ended up scoring. So instead of this being F8, it would be F8 sack. All right, it will be F8 sack. And just to go over the sacrifice real quick as far as the rules of the sacrifice. On a bunt sacrifice, ground ball, guy bunts the ball, it goes on the ground. Runners move up. That's a sacrifice, bunt. All right, you just put sack, and then let's say a ground ball was hit to a bunt, sacrifice bunt was bunted to the third baseman picked it up, threw it to first. All right, guys moved up, either runner on first or runner on first and second. They moved up to second or second and third. How you score that? 5-3, and then put a sack underneath of it. All right, that's how you would score a sacrifice bunt. The only time you score a sacrifice on a fly is if somebody scores. If somebody scores. Not if they advance to a base, because you can tag up. Remember on the base running, when do you tag up when you're on second base? Nobody outs. Fly ball hit, you're on second base. Fly ball, deep fly ball in the center, into the outfield. The center fielder catches it. The guy at second tags up and moves to third. Okay? He moves to third, it's an out. Now you're at third with 1 out. But it's not a sacrifice, it's just an out. It's just an out. And that's important because sacrifices do not count towards your batting average. All right? If you have a sacrifice fly or a sacrifice bunt, it's basically you're 0 for 0. You're 0 for 0. All right? It doesn't count against your average whatsoever. Now, some people on that situation where the guy tagged up from second and went to third, they give that batter a sacrifice, and it's not a sacrifice. All right, he just advanced to the base. It's not a sacrifice because he didn't score a run. So that batter would be 0 for 1. 0 for 1. All right, there's a little bit of a some people get that mixed up as far as when to give a person a sacrifice and when not to. Okay? So we've gone over hits, singles, double, triples, and home runs. We've gone over fly balls, ground balls, all right, double play balls, sacrifices, that kind of thing. All right, now what I want to do is kind of just do a mock inning. A mock inning. And we'll start out with, we've got Jeter here, then we've got Granderson. He's batting second in this game. And then we have Teixeira, who's batting third and playing first base. And then you have Robertson Cano, who got all that money from Seattle. Then you have the catcher, who is Russell Martin. And then the DH for that game is Jorge Posada, the old man. All right, so we'll just go with these guys right here for now. All right, so every one of these guys has a box. All right? And you'll see what I'm talking about when I give you the sheets. All right, so everybody's got a box. So let's just go through an inning real quick. All right, Jeter leads off the game with a single. All right, with a single. So, big box now, big plus sign. You shade in this area. He was a single to left field, so you put a 7 in there. And then you kind of draw a line right there because now he's at first base. He's at first base. All right, now Granderson hits a double to center field. So big box here. All right, shade in 2 boxes for the double. Granderson's at second base. Jeter is at third base. Now, in this box here, you have to tell me who let Jeter get to third base. Who was it? It was Granderson. But you don't write Granderson in this box here. All you have to do is put the number of the position that Granderson is playing, which is center field. So let me know that Granderson is the reason why Jeter is at third base. Okay? So now we've got Jeter's at third base, Granderson is at second base. Now Teixeira's up. All right, Teixeira's up, and he hits a deep fly ball to left field, but it's caught. It's a fly ball out. All right, so Teixeira again, F7, and then it was a sack because Jeter tagged up and scored. So you you color in this little small diamond in the middle because that represents a run. All right, represents a run. And then Granderson stayed at second. Granderson stayed at second. But you have to tell me in this box who gets the RBI. Who drove in Jeter? And it was Teixeira. So you don't write Teixeira's name in here. You put Teixeira's number, which is the first baseman. He's playing first. You put 3. So I know that Teixeira drove in Jeter. Okay? Now, Cano's up. He hits the ball to the second baseman. Second baseman fields it, throws the ball to the first baseman. So it's an out. 4-3. 4 gets the second baseman gets the assist. He gets the assist, which is 4. And then he throws the ball to the first baseman. His number is 3, right there. Now, Granderson on the ground ball to the right side, on our base running again. If I'm on second base, what's the rule of thumb? At you or behind you, you go to third. If it's in front of you, you stay. So the ball's to Granderson's left, so he moves to third. How did he move to third? By Cano. By what Cano did, that 4-3. So Cano's playing second base, so you put a 4 in here, like that. All right, so now we got 2 outs. We got 1 run in. All right, 1 run in. Granderson's at third, 2 outs, and now we got Martin batting. All right. Now Martin, he walks. All right, he walks. And the abbreviation for a walk is not W, it's BB for base on balls. I think that was one of your. That might have been one of the definitions. But BB is for base on balls or walk. So there's no shading in here because he didn't get a hit. All right, he didn't get a hit. All he did was he walked. But he's on first base. So in this small box here, all right, in this box, you write BB. Okay, BB. All right, he's at first base. Granderson's still at third. He didn't do anything. All right, so now Posada's up. Okay? Martin, as Posada's up, Martin runs a first and third steal. Martin ends up stealing second base. All right, so stolen base. So the abbreviation for that would be S for stolen and B for base. Stolen base. So you put an SB in here. SB. All right? Now he's at second base there. He's at second base. Now, Posada comes up and he hits a fly ball to the shortstop. All right? Shortstop's number is 6. So we go F6. It's the third out of the inning. So you would put a little mark right here. And the next guy up in the bottom of the second inning would be Jones. Jones, and then 9. So they're done hitting. They run out and play defense. Tampa Bay's on offense. Tampa Bay gets 3 outs. New York comes back up to bat. And Jones is now batting in the 2nd inning. And make sure, because Jones has a box here too. All right, but it's important that's why you put that little mark there, so you don't start whatever Jones did, you don't put it in this box, you put it in the 2nd inning box. You put it in the 2nd inning box. Okay? Then you got Jones, Nunez, Gardner, and whatever. Okay? Now, let's say it's the 3rd inning. Jones gets out, Nunez gets out, Gardner gets out. It's an American League game, so the pitcher does not hit. Burnett is pitching, but he doesn't hit. So now let's say instead of the 2nd inning, now it's the 3rd inning over here. Okay, Jeter comes up. He hits a double to left field or left center. And if it's hit the ball to left field or left center or right center, just put the number in the box that it was closest to. If it's right down the middle, you can pick either 7 or 8 as far as where he hit the ball. But let's say it hits the ball to left center and it was closer to center field than it was left field, so I'm going to put an 8 in here. Okay? I'm going to put an 8 in here. Now, Granderson is up. Granderson is up. All right, but now Tampa Bay, they make a pitching change. All right, they come in and make a pitching change. In this game, Price was pitching. He started pitching, and you can see it in the lineup. But now they take Price out, and they put somebody else in. They put a relief pitcher in. You have to show that not only on the score sheet of Tampa Bay, all right, but you also got to show it as far as what it is on New York's. And basically what you do is you put a big bold line underneath Jeter. Okay? Big bold line underneath Jeter. And now Granderson is up. And the reason you have to do that is because you're looking at stats. You're looking at stats. Whatever happened before this dark line, Jeter and everybody else, that's Price's. All right? That's all on Price. His runs, his hits, his strikeouts, all that kind of stuff, it's all on Price. Whatever comes after that is the stats of the new guy that they brought in. All right, the relief pitcher that they brought in. Okay? So let's say the relief pitcher is brought in. I don't know who it is in one of the games. There was a couple pitchers that came in for Tampa Bay. Let's say a relief pitcher comes in, he faces Granderson, that's his first hitter. Granderson strikes out. I mean, I think he struck out 200 sometimes that year, so he's going to strike out. All right? Now, strikeout, you don't put SK or anything like that. It's a K. All right? Just the letter K is a strikeout. A regular K, all right, let's say he struck out swinging. That's a regular K that you put in the book. If the hitter strikes out swinging, it's a regular K. All right, let's say that Granderson struck out looking. He struck out looking. That would be a backwards K. That would be a backwards K. Again, you're telling that person that wasn't at the game the story. So, if he struck out swinging, it would be a regular K. If he struck out looking, it would be a backwards K. All right, and then that's one out, and then you move on and that kind of thing. All right, some abbreviations. Well, let's go with one more now, a fielder's choice. Okay, a fielder's choice. If you don't know what a fielder's choice is, look it up. Look it up. Basically, it's the batter hit the ball. He didn't make it out, but the guys on base, they were put out. All right, so let's say there's a guy on first. Teixeira is up. He hits a ground ball to the third baseman. Third baseman throws it to second, and Teixeira beats out the ball at first base because the second baseman threw to first, but they didn't get Teixeira out. All right? So, with that, let's just say that instead of Granderson Kane, he ended up walking. Or let's say he walked. Teixeira's up. All right? And Teixeira hits a ground ball to the third baseman. The third baseman throws it to second to get Granderson, but ends up being on first base safely. So you put a half line there, and you would put 5 to 4 right there. That tells me that Teixeira hits a ground ball. Well, it doesn't tell you yet. You have to put an FC in here for Teixeira. He got the first base. How did he get the first base? He didn't get a hit, so there's no shading. It's just FC for fielder's choice. And then this tells me, well, how did Granderson get out? He got out from the third baseman to the second baseman. Third baseman fielded Teixeira's ground ball, threw to second base. They got Granderson out, but Teixeira reached base, so FC on that. Okay? All right. Let's go over some simple, I'll leave the names up in case I want to use them again. All right, but you have, for strikeout, you have K for swinging, K, backwards K for looking. Walks, you have BB for base on balls. All right, walks, base on balls. Fielder's choice, FC. All right, let's say you got hit by a pitch. Let's say one of these guys got hit by a pitch and got to first base. So hit, H, by, B, pitch. Hit by pitch. Hit by pitch. Okay? Error. The error symbol is E for error. What else is there? What else is there? Let's say stolen base, SB. All right, let's say in that one inning that Martin, he tried to steal second base and got thrown out. All right, he got thrown out. That's a caught stealing. Caught stealing, so it's C for caught, S for stealing. So it'll be CS, but there was an assist and there was a put out, so you have to score that. So more times than not, I can't remember of an instance where caught stealing was with somebody else, maybe in a first and third situation or not. But Martin, ball was caught by the catcher, which his number is 2, and he threw the ball, and let's say the shortstop caught it and tagged Martin out. So it'd be caught stealing 2 from the catcher to the shortstop. So you just would write in there 2-6. If it was to the second baseman, you would write 2-4. Okay? Let's say there was an intentional walk. All right? They didn't want to pitch to somebody, so an intentional walk or intentional base on balls. So you're looking at intentional I, base on balls. So you would put that in a box, in that small little box. All right, depending on who it was. Error for error. Now, when somebody makes an error, if somebody reaches base on an error, you have to tell me who made the error. Who made the error? If it was a second baseman, it would be E4. If it was a shortstop, it would be E6. If it was a pitcher, it would be E1. Okay? Let's say there's somebody on first base, he gets intentionally walked. All right, so it's like this. Box here, IBB in the first box. Okay, now, the pitcher throws a wild pitch. Goes to the backstop, wild pitch. And whoever this guy is, he ends up going to second. How did he get to second? On a wild pitch. WP. WP. Wild pitch. All right? If it's a pass ball, it would be P for pass and then B for ball. And he's at second base. All right? Let's say there's a wild pitch to third. He goes to third, wild pitch. All right, let's say he scores on a wild pitch. You put wild pitch there. So this guy right here, whoever it is, all right, he got intentionally walked, moved to second on a pass ball, moved to third on a wild pitch, and scored on a wild pitch. Okay? What is the difference between a wild pitch and a pass ball? Well, rule of thumb is if the ball hits the ground, if the pitcher throws the ball and it hits the ground and gets by the catcher, it's a wild pitch. It's scored as a wild pitch. If the ball is in flight, in the air, and the catcher hits the catcher's glove and then gets to the backstop and somebody moves up, we usually put a pass ball down. All right. If any ball that's in the dirt that goes away, gets away from the catcher, more times than not, it's a wild pitch. Scored a wild pitch. Ball gets away from the catcher after in the air. The pitcher threw the ball in the air, hits the catcher's mitt, and it goes back behind. Somebody moves up. That's when we go with a pass ball. Okay. On double plays, make sure that on a double play here. Let's just do a double play real quick. All right, let's say Jeter is up. Depending on what inning, doesn't matter really what inning for this thing. Let's say Jeter reached on an error by the shortstop. So it'd be E6 here, so Jeter's on. So now you want to put a big plus sign instead of a small plus sign. So E6. All right, E6. By the shortstop. Granderson hits the ball to the third baseman. Third baseman throws it to the second baseman. Second baseman throws it to the first baseman. So Granderson is out 5, 4, 3, G, ground ball double play. You can either write GDP for ground ball double play or just DP in here. All right, now Jeter's out. How did he get out? He got out in the 5 to 4, so you put the 5 to 4 out there. So I know there's 2 outs. Boom. Granderson, 5, 4, 3. And who made the second out? It was Jeter, 5 to 4. Okay? Now, one last thing. If you have pinch hitters, all right, let's say this was the 6th inning, all right, Jeter gets up, he walks, and the manager, let's say this is the 8th inning. Jeter walks now. It's a close ball game. They want to pinch hit Granderson. Let's say they want to pinch hit Granderson for who else would be playing in there? Let's go with Gardner. All right, they're going to pinch hit Gardner. So underneath Granderson, and let's say it's the 8th inning, you would write in Gardner's name underneath Granderson, Gardner. All right, and then you would put the 8th here. Okay? Now, what else you would do is the last time Granderson hit, all right, instead of doing the horizontal line to show the pitch and change, you would do a dark vertical line on the last box that Granderson hit. Because then this shows me that up until this point, Granderson hit. Once I see that mark, then I know that whatever happens after that is on Gardner. Again, with stats. You don't want to give somebody a ground ball double play if you don't want to give Gardner a ground ball double play if it was Granderson. And you don't want to give Granderson a hit when Gardner got the hit. All right, let's say he got a double to left field. Okay? So anything that happens besides balls and strikes, you can mark something on the score sheet as far as that goes. Okay, we don't on this particular method we don't tally balls and strikes. All right, on some of the other ones they have like small little boxes. They have 3 small little boxes and 2 small little boxes, and then it just dot in 1 box for ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, or strike 1, strike 2. And then obviously if it's a walk, it's BB. If it's a strikeout, it's a backwards K. If it's a strikeout swinging, it's a regular K. All right. All right. Let's say with one more thing, you have the unassist, like first baseman fields a ground ball, doesn't throw it at anybody, steps on the bag. That's 3 UA. That's 3 UA. All right. Let's say that there's a guy in first base, 2 outs. Guy in first base, there's 2 outs. Let's say Teixeira's on first. He got on an E6. Cano's up. There's 2 outs. All right. Cano hits the ball to the shortstop. But instead of the shortstop throwing the ball to the first baseman, he just gets the ball, steps on second base, inning over, and gets Teixeira out. So that would be a 6 UA right there. Teixeira was going from first to second, gets out 6 UA, and then Cano reached on a fielder's choice. So after the game is over with, and you don't know what, and you give the score sheet to somebody that wasn't at the game to find out quickly how many runs team had. You count the diamonds. All right, you count the number of solid diamonds in all around. So if there was 4 solid diamonds, there was 4 runs scored. If there was 5 solid diamonds, there was 5 runs scored. All right, you can count the hits by how many shades you have. All right, right here. All right, if this was the box right there, we would only have 1 hit because there's only a box, a big box, that was shaded in. That's not a hit, that's not a hit, that's not a hit, that's not a hit, that's not a hit. All right? So you count the shaded number of boxes, and that's how many hits you have. All right, so anything that happens besides balls and strikes has got to be put down on here. Substitutions, pitching changes, pinch hitting, strikeouts, runs, RBIs, whatever. Okay? All right, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'll send this to you. Look over it. I will send you the 2 sheets. These sheets look like this. Hopefully I don't get too close that you can't see it. But you'll have a lineup sheet like this. All right, that's for the Tampa Bay Rays. And then you have a sheet like this for the New York Yankees. All right. If you have any problems or any questions, feel free to email me. If you have any questions as far as, well, how would you score this play or that play or whatever, send me an email.